Hello everyone, this is Professor Kent. Today we are going to, this recording is regarding Module 3. In Module 3, the first two steps, again, we're going to be doing the same thing what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks for Module 1 and Module 2. But let's get started. You're going to click on Class App. And then what you need to do is you need to log in to download your Windows 10. So let's do that. Put in your password. I always forget my password. I hope this is the right one. Yes, it is the right one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Class App Windows 10, double click, launch it. What it will do is it will download onto the Class App will get downloaded. I don't want a full screen because I want to see everything. I say cancel. You let the system do its thing and then we will get started. Depending on your internet, sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it's not so fast. Today my system doesn't look like that it's going to go fast, but we just have to be patient for the system to load. There we go. All right, so I know it's still loading, so let's wait for a little longer. Okay, now I know that it's loaded. I'm doing it at the pace of my internet. Your internet might be faster. My internet isn't so faster. So this is the desktop for the class apps. Before we do anything, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go to D2L and download a file that I posted in Module 3. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, we wanted to download to bring lesson 2 files to our desktop so that we can work with that too. So let's do that. I'm going to go here to our Google Chrome and I'm going to look for Centennial. Yes, it's going to come up automatically. And I'm going to log into our D2L. My Centennial. Okay. I just have to see what my username is so that I could so you're going to go to your eCentennial and you're going to go to our course. Once you are in the course, what you're looking for is you're looking for Module 3. And in Module 3, what you're going to do is you're going to download an Excel file. And that Excel file, you're going to, so the wrong one. The Excel file that you want to download is onto your desktop. That's the one we need for this course. So we're going to go there and then what I'm going to do is go to your content. Under the content, what we want to do is Module 3, which is week 3. It's already here. So this is the file that I would like you to download. what you're going to do is you're going to download this file, and once it downloads it's in your download folder. You could just leave it in the download folder, but I like to put it in the desktop so that we don't have any issues later on. So I am going to go and move that from the download to our desktop so that we don't have any issues. So move it to your desktop that you're going to be working with. So we have done that. If you look at it, the file is here. Now let's go further. Now since we are here, we can go to our H drive. Also, we wanted to load lesson 2 files. Again, you wanted the file with the 4 files in it. So this is the folder that you wanted to bring it to your desktop. I have done that. So now what we are doing is we are working with module 3. So we're done what we needed to bring in, and now we're going to set up the 2 database. So if you look at it, I have the OmniSys lesson 2 there. We also have our chart of accounts. Now we're going to do is we're going to start. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your MSQL Server 2014. It should come easy to you now because we have done it for 2 weeks, and this is the last time I'm going to be showing you on the video. You should be able to do this on your own because we've been doing it for a couple weeks now. And then our test is coming up. In the test, you have to do this on your own. So what you're going to do is you're going to create 2 databases. So then you're going to say browse under the server name, browse for more. When you browse for more, you're going to expand it, and then you're going to look for the 3. The third one, again, when you're doing it, you should have class app, and the class app, whatever the number you got in ACPAC 2019, and I'm going to do Control C because you need this for your future when you set up the database in Sage. Then you're going to down Windows SQL Server, and our login is SA, our password is SQL Server, and they are all lower letters. And then I'm going to say connect. Once you connected, you right click it, you're going to click the new database, and those 2 database, then I'm just going to extend it to see what's happening. So we are going to do S capitals, S case sensitive, OMSYS, OmniSys, and this I'm going to change it to 6, and then you're going to say okay. That's our first one. Take your time doing it. Now we're going to do Omni data. So it will be OMNDAT, and then also going to be 6. And then we say okay. Now, if you look at it, we should have 2 Omnidata and OmniSys. Don't worry about the other ones. Those are the other database. Don't worry about those ones. All we worry about is, do we have the ones that we need? Now, we close the MSQLs, then go in again, and then you're going to go to Sage. They're in alphabetic order. Click on the Sage. We're going to do is database setup first. Your password is admin. Sorry, my throat is not clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete, yes, delete, yes, delete, yes. So now we are going to create new. Our first one is OMNSys, and we are going to say okay. And then the server name will be what we brought from the MSQL server. I'm going to say Control V, and then login is SA. Password is SQL Server. Database name will be OmniSys. So whatever the database ID at the top, that's what it's going to be. Say okay. Then we're going to say new again, and it will be Omnidata. And then we say okay. And then this description should be the name of the company. It'll be Omni Electrical. Server name will be your what you're going to Control V, SQL server, and then here database name will be Omnidate. That's what we created at the top, the database ID, and we say okay. Once two of them are there, OmniSys and Omnidata, we exit here. So these two steps you have to do it every time you are starting with the class app. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load our files that will be in database load. So let's go Sage database load. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load from our lesson 2. So in this case, we are going to do is set directory. So you're going to browse. When you browse it, you're going to go to this PC, desktop, OmniSys, lesson 2, say okay. And we're going to say okay. Now these two comes up. You're going to do OmniSys, next, next, next. Then go same thing, next, next, and finish. So the system is going to do what it needed to do. So once this clears, it means that you have done everything you needed to do. And we close this, and then now we're ready to start our lecture for module 3. So in module 3, in this module, what we're doing is we're creating, what are we creating? We're creating chart of accounts. So that's what we are creating, chart of accounts in this one. So we're going to go to our Sage, and under the Sage, we're going to look for Sage 300, and we're ready to start our first, our module 3. And I say open company. It will be admin, ADMIN. Again, this will be 01/01/2021. Your book is different, just the dates, session dates are different. Rest is everything same. We say okay. Now if you remember, we already activate our GL in our last module 2. We wanted to know if we picked up the right file. So let the system do its thing. We want to know if the GL is active. If I look at it, GL is active. Where we did it, we set up, we did our setup. So this is where we did it. We create the account structures, and we did everything. So now if you look at it, before we go to further, we wanted to do it. This is where we were. We created our we said that we wanted to keep the file for 7 years, and we had two in segment. We have a account and we have a division, so we know everything is the way we supposed to be. So now we wanted to do is we wanted to create accounts. So where you're going to create accounts, you are going to go to your GL account. So this is where we're going to create accounts. So now if you look at it under chart of accounts, there's nothing there. So if there's nothing there, we needed to create it. So let's go and create it, and we show you how to create it. We're only going to create couple of them. We're not going to create all of them. So we're just, and then we're going to show you how to make your life easier by importing it from the Excel file. That importing is only going to work for Omni Electric. It's not going to work for your assignment, and it's not going to work for your test. That you have to do it on your own. We're going to show you how to create the chart of account. You're going to double click. When you double click it, you're going to get this window. And now if you look at it, if you're going to create a new, you click on this. So in the first one is what we wanted to call it. It's 1,000. And if you look at it, we created our account to be 4-digit, and our division is our 3 digits. So now when you're doing it, I wanted you to go to your page. The next we're doing exercise 3, and if you back off the exercise, next page is the chart of accounts that we are going to be creating. So what we wanted to do is only going to be creating the first set of accounts, and then we're going to import the rest. Description is what is the title of this account that you're trying to create. In this case, I wanted to call it 100. In the exercise, it told us that it is a bank account, and it is called the bank checking. So it is bank checking. So CHEQUE. So now when you go here, if you look at it, we have a structure code, and this is, you're going to have two, only the revenue account and the expenses account will be with the division code, but everything else will be with the account. So ACC I selected. If you look at it now, this is the bank account, which is an asset account. We want to know what type of normal balance this bank account has. The normal balance will have a debit balance. Where does it sit? It sits on my balance sheet. We also have to classify it under the classify account group, means where does it sit? Is this a cash under a classification? Is this a cash and cash equivalent, accounts receivable, inventory? We have fixed assets, other assets, all those. So in this case, this is a cash account. We will select. You have to do this right, because at the end of the day, if you don't classify them right, your financial statements will be incorrect. Now we have to make it active. Control account, I will show you what to do with the control and the allocation when you go to your revenue account and for your expense account. If you look at it, when you do allocation, the window is active at the top. So we don't want to do this again. Roll up, we don't use it. Roll up is when you have more than one bank account. What you wanted to do is since we don't have any accounts yet, roll up account, what does it do is, if you look at it, we only have one account. If you have more than one bank account, what you want to do is what I didn't want to do that. Sorry, I wanted to cancel it, but I just by accidentally I did that. Roll up accounts again is the account that if you have more than one bank accounts, what you wanted to do, them put them together for the viewing purposes. That's what you wanted to do. Again, I'm just going to bring it to where we were, debit, and it is a balance sheet. Classification code is classified under 1, and then any account you wanted to delete it, you have to make them inactive, save them, and then delete them. Otherwise system won't let you delete it. So this is the first one we were doing is creating the first one, which is your 100 account and the bank checking account. Now you're going to go to chart of accounts, where you're going to do everything up to the account number 1540. So you're going to add. Once you add, then you say new by adding by clicking the plus button. So the next one is your 1010, and then it is called a bank account. You have to do it right, because automatically system gives you credit. You have to know what type of account is this. So in this case, we're going to go select, it's a debit account, and then it's a balance sheet account. You have to do the classification right. If you don't do the classification right, when you are doing the control account, it will be incorrect. So in this case, it will go under the cash, and we will select, and you have to add it. When save comes, that means you can go and create a next one. Let's do the next one. Next one is your 1030, and it is going to be petty cash. That's our next account. We're gonna go account. I know it seems like a lot, but it's once you do it, it becomes very easy. And this petty cash will come under the cash and cash equivalent. We're gonna select it, we're gonna add it, and then we're gonna go to our next one. Our next one is accounts receivable, and I'm gonna create our next one. It is gonna be and this is my account. You get marks for this when you do your first test, so you make sure you do the classification right. So this is accounts receivable. You don't need to memorize it. All you have to do is go to the finder, and it does everything for you. In this case, we're going to add it. And then we're going to go to the next one. Our next one is, we learned this in our first accounting course. It is allowance for doubtful account is a contra account to your accounts receivable. And if that's the case, what we needed to do is, this will have it is a source code is account, and what we needed to do is, it is a credit balance because it is a contra account to your asset account. It is still sits under your balance sheet, and the account is under the accounts receivable. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to add, and we're going to save. Go to the next one. We are going to go to the inventory 1200, and it is going to be called inventory. Inventory, again, it's a balance sheet. Accounts are all going to be accounts. And then you're going to go to select the inventory, and we're going to add, and then we're going to go, sorry, see, if you look at it, I made a mistake, but I could always fix it. This account should be a debit account, not a credit account. Sometimes when we try to do faster, we can make mistakes, so you have to save it again. And let's go further. We can always double check before we submit everything, if everything correct, because I will show you how to do that. Menu. So manufacturing is a balance sheet account, but it goes under the fixed assets. So you have to do a fixed asset. So you have to make sure you pick the right group in order for it to show where you want it to show. And then it has to be right group. So add, and then go next. We have 3 more accounts to create, and then we are going to show you how to import them. So next one is, if you're and this is also a fixed asset. And system is, once you tell the system what to do, it's smart and does everything it needed to do. So I add it, and then I go to the next one. Our next one is 1520. So we go to 1520, and our next one is your office equipment. And our source code is going to be same. Select it. Account group will be your fixed assets. It is your balance sheet account, and it is a debit. So you wanted to make sure you're doing everything needed to. Just double check it before you kind of peek through what you did, and then move forward. So we go add, and let's go to our next one. We have 2 more, second last. Next one is your 1530, and it is your building account. So building, it is also a fixed asset account. So we're going to add. We did everything right. Now this is our last one that we have to create for this exercise. We wanted to show you, if you have only for the in a real life, if you have a file which you have created the accounts in Excel, how you are able to bring those ones into your Sage 300. So that's what we wanted to show you, and it's done now. If you had to create all the accounts that we are giving it to you, it'll take you about 20 minutes to do that. But in next one, if you if we show you how to bring the file, it does it in a split of seconds. So that's what we are going to show you now. It says that stop here if you are going to import a file. What we want to do is, did we want to import a file? Yes, we wanted to import a file. So then we finished exercise 3.3. Now where we are on exercise we're continuing on exercise 3.3, and I say add it here. So you have to be in this window. In other words, you have to be in this window in order to bring the files that we wanted to import. So if you look at it, I have this account folder. You should be in this. When you're doing it, you click on file. Under the file, what you're going to do is you're going to import. When you import it, it's saying basic account file. Say okay. What we wanted to do is we wanted to say okay here. So when it's going to come to the next one is, if you look at it, this is it's just saying it which file you wanted to bring in. In this case, we called it Excel file, but it will be your single file that you are bringing. So don't make a mistake. It will be, you'll be clicking on the single CS file. And then what you wanted to do is title. You wanted to insert an update or update only. Insert is going to add. So we already created about 10 accounts. If you do insert, it's going to give you 2 accounts of bank, 2 of accounts receivable, 2 of the inventory. We don't want to do that. What we wanted to do is we wanted to do insert and update. When we do insert and update, what happens is that it does everything. So in this case, allow you to the new records. You wanted to do is and change the existing. So you always, I think your book says that you only wanted to insert, but in this case what we wanted to do is just to make your life easier. Then it's going to ask you to delete some of them later on. So we are going to do is insert and update. So let's do that. And browse is saying where you're bringing the file from. You remember we on this PC, where we did is we brought that file under this PC, under the desktop. I brought that file, and it's a chart of account file. This is the file that we wanted to bring. In this case, it's going to we say open, and then we say okay. Now, if you see it now, if you don't get this message, that means you made a mistake. So you may you go back and then redo this step. In this case, it told us that it inserted 50 accounts. So now if you look at it, what we're going to do is the accounts are created for us automatically. So that's what happens. The accounts are created automatically. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how where these ones are. So let's do that. We'll show you where these accounts are created. So now if I go here under the chart of accounts, if you will notice it that we only created the up to 1540. Now if you look at it, the system automatically created all the other accounts. So the system already created all the other accounts. So we know that these ones it's already created. So if you look at it, we have division codes are also set up. So if I wanted to see this, remember I said that this will be a division account. So if I have to go modify it, this is another way of saying you can modify the account. How you modify it? By double clicking it. This is how we modify it. In order for you to see it, if you look at it, any income statement account will be a division account, because we are going to have revenue for division 1, which is your electrical, then you have a machinery. So this is why I said that it will be a division account. So if you look at a system that did everything what it needed to be done. So this is what I showed you to do. So now if you for the next one is, if you look at it, if you go to your next page, the exercise, I just wanted you to revisit not revisit, to show you what they want to do in exercise 3-4. So this is what we wanted to show you, and what they want you to do in exercise 3-4. What happens is this: we are now going to use it in this class, but if you were to use it in your real life, if you create a new division, so if you create a new division and you wanted to find all the accounts, and if there is no account for that division, you wanted the system to create it. For example, if there's no expense account, you want the system to create it. So how are you going to do it? So in this case, we are creating we're doing exercise 3-4. We're creating an account. And where do we create an account? You have to be in GL account ledger. So in this case, we are going to do create account. When you create an account, the system is asking you to create some account that are with 100, and the system will create the other ones for you. In this case, then you go to your next step and you're going to go to your account finder. In this case, we are looking for finder will be your division, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go select. In this case, is find means it's just they're looking for a division. In this case, division is this one. Select the account number. The account number will be for the segment. In this case, it is a segment. The account name, what the account name is, they want you to leave it. They wanted to type 100. Let's do that. Code is your 100. So this is your 100. So the segment code is 100. Segment name is your division, and what is it by segment. So leave the default and including existent alone. We're not going to do anything. They are saying the double click on the node to create a new account. So double click to create a new account. When you come up with this, then what you're going to do is the system is asking you to do what is saying the column. So from and to. So in this case, this is a from column and this is a to column. What you want the system to do is in the from column will be 200 and the to column will be 200. So what they are saying is, and the default option will be 100. So we wanted to know whatever the account you have at 100 in the expense account, what we want, any division account, what we wanted, we want you to create the same account for division 2. So that's what you want to do, the same account for the division 2. And then once you do it, in this case, what you're going to do it's asked you to preview it. We should come up with the 2 accounts, and let's see if it does come up with it. Sometimes we could get an error message if you don't do exactly what we are supposed to be doing. I'm going to do preview, and the system will say that it created 2 accounts. They say you want to preview it, say close, and the system will create 2 accounts, and that means these 2 write-off accounts wasn't there. So if I wanted to modify this account, so now if you look at it, there's a comma in the both. What I wanted to do is, by modifying it, how do I do it? I have to close. What I have to do is I have to close the create account window. So if I do it here, I close it. Now I close here. So now where am I going to go find where do I get to close it? I'm going to show you how to modify the accounts. In this case, you will be in the account window, and what you're going to do is you're going to remove. And then what we wanted to do is there's 2 places you could do is you could go. I just wanted to kill 2 birds in one stone by showing you how to change the which was our account number. In this case, it was 6210 and 60. I can enlarge it. So it was the machinery accounts that the accounts we just created with the write-off account. So this was my write-off account 6210 and 621. So in this case, we wanted to do is we wanted to in this case write off account, and they wanted you to delete the machinery. So in this case, what I think I didn't save it when I did it before. So let's go back, because it didn't, I didn't do this. So see, it's still sitting there. I'm going to preview it. I wanted to do that, and I'm going to say is click the preview button, which is there, and I'm going to, this is the preview, yes, and it's the other expense and this one. And what I wanted to do it is I wanted to remove what I wanted to do it, remove the comma here. I wanted to show in the other one, but that's okay. I think I didn't save it here, that's why it didn't let me do that. And then once we do that, we close it, and then what we're doing is we will process it in order for the system to recognize it. So do that, 2 accounts are created and the comma has been deleted from there. So you're going to do is, so do you realize that if I don't do anything with this, the system is smart, it will stay there and wait for us to do something with that. Now the other account I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, say okay, yes, I'm going to close this. Now if I go to my my accounts, in this case you could go to the chart of accounts, or you could go to the create account window. When you're doing the create account window, I wanted to go double click on the icon, and I wanted to show you there with the finder if to see if those 2 accounts are there. 6210, we are 6210, and these 2 accounts are there. If you look at it, these 2 accounts that we created for the other expenses, and they are there. Now if you notice that we are going to show you how to delete some of the accounts, how to modify it and how to delete it. So the modify and delete account, we are allowed to modify the account. Say double click on the finder, and then what we're going to do is we are going to locate which one you're going to want to locate. You can click on the finder with the find by which one. So there's different way of looking for these accounts. I'm just going to cancel it here. I'm going to just what we're going to do is you are allowed to do is to look for different accounts that can be come up with a different numbers. In other words, if I'm looking for the 4,000 account, you could do the 4,000 account. If I'm looking for whatever I want to do. So in other words, when you're doing a finder, you're allowed to do the accounts by number, by account. This is the account window finder. What we wanted to do is tells you what you wanted to find. Tell the computer what you want to do it. You can do it by description, by account number, by unformatted account, by the status of the account, by the structure code. And if I wanted to do it by description, then it asks you further in the description what else I wanted to do. In this case, I can do the start with, and then what that's what the or contains to. You could also do contains to, that's the drop down window. Then what you click on the start with, because we wanted to start with a number account and show me to bring up everything that is there. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted the system to show me everything that relates to the sales. So that's what you want to do. So it comes up with everything. So whatever relates to the sales, then it will come up with that. If I don't want it to do that, I can also do the set criteria. I can set the criteria, means the system, well, whatever you're telling the system to do, that's what they will do. So these are some of the things that are there that you could do it. In this case, you are going to do the drop down window. Then you can also go to the description. That's what it's saying. And then what you could do is you could add it. So in this case, you can also add the things when you're doing the adding the things. You could do a lot more things. So that is your exercise the exercise 3.5, what we wanted to do is there's a different way of looking for the filters. In other words, this is a different way of looking at the filters. The most common one is used by the one I just showed you was this one. This is what you wanted to do. Most companies, like, you want, if I'm looking for it, this is what we'll look for. Show me all the accounts with 4,000. So in this case, we could cancel. These are some of the things that is there under the finder, under the GL, and this is where you could do that. So now what we're going to do is, I think we are going to show you how to delete account. So modify the account and delete an account. How we're going to modify and delete an account. Now, how do we do that? You should be in your account window. When you're in your account window, what you're going to do is, you're going to, if you modify it, you can only I'm going to show you. If it's exercise 3.6. How do I modify? Which account you modify, put in the and put in the number of that account, and then it comes with a bank account. So in this case, what you wanted to do is, you wanted this bank account to be a payroll account. So in this case, you're going to type as a payroll. Now if you look at it, when you modify it, you can only change the type of account, but you cannot change the structure of the account. So if you look at it, this is structure of code cannot be changed. So what we wanted to do is, we modify it and you're going to save it. So this is what we did. We saved it. So we showed you how to modify it by changing the name. So I'm going to do it and close. If you have to delete an account, you're going to go to the same one, you double click it, and when you double click it, you're going to go to the finder, and then the finder will be you could, in this case, your finder will be you whatever you wanted to do is, I'm just going to close this because I just wanted to go to the finder. I don't want to do this, all that, show records. So in this case, I don't want to show everything, and what I wanted to do is 4,500 100. What we wanted to do is, we wanted to delete this account 4510. That's the one, because if you look at it, I wanted to delete that account. How do I delete that account? What you have to do is, you have to make that account inactive first before we want to delete it. If there's an amount in there, then the system won't let you delete it. So what we wanted to do it, we wanted to delete it, this one. So in this case, we wanted to, you could do it this way. I'm going to make it account inactive first. So if I look at it, if I wanted to delete this, system, are you sure? So, because there's nothing there, it will let you delete it. But in the real life, what we do is, we make the account inactive and then we delete it. So we're deleting 4510 100, and we're deleting 200. So we wanted to make them inactive first, and then we want to delete it. System will say, are you sure? We say yes, we are sure. Now there's another way of doing it. You could just go forward. How do you go to forward? Is to go to the next. I go to the next and I make it inactive, and I could delete it. Or you could do it by finder again, whatever you find it easy, and that's what we are going to do. So now close it. I want to know if these two accounts that I deleted, are they deleted? The only way to there's two different way of checking it. I am going to go to my 45 start. I can do the start account. Which one was it? 45. So if I do a 45 100 and I do finder, it's going to list all of them. So you could do it that way. What I wanted to do, I wanted to know if that 45 10 100 and 45 10 200 is deleted. Yes, it was sales other, they are deleted. So this is some way of deleting and some way of modifying the accounts. It's done in account, GL account module. Now the next part we wanted to do is, we wanted to show you how to do an allocation. When you do an allocation, we have to have a main account first, and then two sub ledger accounts, means two sub accounts. So how do you do that? That's our next exercise 3.8. We're gonna double click it. when we double click it, we have to create a new account. And if I create a new account, we wanted to do it, if you look at it in the chart of accounts, I'm going to show you first before we go it. And what we have a chart of account, which is our telephone account. What we have is, we have, these are my division accounts: 60 20 100, 60 20 200. So these are my division accounts. If they're my division accounts, if I want to do an allocation, first I have to do a main account, and that main account is split between the two. So in this case, it should be split between the two. You have to it's going to be split between the two. So what I am going to do is, I'm going to go here. In this case, I have to create a main account first. In order, main account isn't there, main account will be 1620. Now that's the account, and the next one will be my telephone. So in this case, main account will be an account. The division accounts, we already have it. So in this case, it will be telephone. I can't even spell telephone. P. And of course, it's a telephone expense, and that is going to be, it will be called your income statement account. Normal balance is debit. In this case, when you categorize for this one, it will be your fixed. In this case, it's 21 fixed expenses. These are fixed expenses, means this is the main account, is a fixed expense. And what we wanted to do is, we wanted to change this to an we wanted to change into an into be in the allocation account. When we do it, if you double click on the allocation, so if you look at it, it will come back with the allocation. So if you take this off, it will not be, the window will not be active. So if I wanted to do that, I will do a class action, and then it's, if this is the allocation. Now what I wanted to do is, when you do this allocation, and I'm going to do is, when I'm going to do this, the allocation, it will come back with the option where I wanted to do that. So in this case, if I go to the detail, in the detail, we wanted to go, now we created this, so you have allocation. So what you're doing is, you make sure you're picking up the right allocation, and then the source code will be the right. And you remember in your last class, we created source code, so you're going to make sure you're doing the right code. And in this case, it is a reallocation. We're going to select it. So now if you look at the first window is active. So in this case, we have two expense account. Main account is 6020, and then we have a sub account, which is your 100 is your electric, and 200 will be your machinery. In this case, what you're going to do is, you're going to find it. You're going to find the account. I'm going to do is, you're going to go to your 6020, and you're going to pick your accounts. In this case, you have two accounts. In this case, you're going to look at this one. I'm going to select that. So in this case, what is the account description? Is a telephone, and the reference is your reallocation. That's what we are doing. We're doing a reallocation, and the description will be a telephone. And then we wanted to tell the computer, your telephone expense account, the 1620 is the main account. But what we want to do is, we want to move percent from there to one department, and percent from there to the next department. So your percent has to be equal. In this case, this will be your 30, and then you tab it over to the next one. Sometimes it doesn't work, so you have to, for that time, you have to find the insert button to go to your next line. And in order to go to the next one, like I did that, if you can't use the tab, you can use your insert button to go to the next line. In this case, our next line will be 6020, and then it is 200 account, and I'm going to tab. You look at it, I didn't put the hyphen, it automatically brings it. So in this case, it will be reallocation, and it is called a telephone expense. And then we wanted to do is we wanted to move 70% from here to there. So that's what happens is the main account is 6020. We wanted to move some to the to 100 and some to the 200. So now the next part of the exercise is 3.8. What they wanted to do is do the same thing what we did is for the insurance and for the utilities. For that, you have to add what you have to do is you have to create a main account first and then do the allocation. So save it, and I'm going to what you're going to do is I'm going to just do it here. So the main account will be my 1640, and the description will be insurance expense. And then what we wanted to do is insurance expense account, and that is an account, select, and it is a debit account, it's an income statement account, and it's going to be fixed assets. So it will be your fixed assets selected. We want to do the allocation, and then when you do the sorry, I didn't do the 21. So it's a 21, select it, and then what we wanted to do is we wanted to do the allocation. Now if you look at it, the allocation window pops up, and then you click on that allocation, and then you make sure you are picking up the right one. In this case, RT is for reallocation. You're going to double click it, you're going to find out your insurance expense accounts, and what we wanted is we wanted both. In this case, 1640 and 6040 and 4100 and 6040 200. In this case, it's a reallocation account, and then we will call it a reallocation. Allocation, and then this will be your, and the description will be description will be whatever the name of the expense. So and that's what it is, that's what we're doing, insurance expense. So this is sorry, my cursor. You in this one, you wanted to make sure where the 100, in this case 100 is 60%. So the next account will be your 200, which will be split to 40%. Again, you're going to do as insert if it doesn't let you go to the next one, tab if tab doesn't work and you needed to go to the next one. So in this case 6040, and the next one is your 200, tab it over, and it will be reallocation. And then what is that for insurance expense, and then it is for 40, the next 40. So in other words, it has to be equal to 100%. So if you look at the total percent, it has to be 100. So what we'll do is we'll add it, and then once it's saved, when a save comes, it's already saved, right? So what we're going to do is next we're going to do the next one, which is your 6060, and the main account is your utilities expense. You have to create those. Once you have to know as an accountant that you have to have a main account and then you have a sub account. In this case, this is the main utility expense. Your source code will be an account, It is a debit account. It's an income statement account, and this one we wanted to call it 21, which is your fixed expense. So this is your fixed expense account, fixed charges. So in this case, you select it, and then what you're going to do is active yes. You're going to click on the auto allocation, and then allocation you have to split it between the two accounts. Look for the source code. In this case it will be RT, and what we wanted to do is the first account you wanted to do is, so you could find it. In this case I wanted to make it faster, 60 60 100, tab it over, and the reference will be allocation, and then we have a description will be your utilities expense. And that now in this case 100, we're putting it 20, as long as it's equal to 100. Now if you look at it, doesn't go again, you have to do insert button to do it. Insert button on your laptops are different than in the lab, so you look for that insert button. So in this case 60 60 200, we go to the next one. It is a reallocation. And that is for 80. So now what we done is we learned allocation, and we have done everything. So now we're left with one more thing before we could finish our lecture for today. I'm going to add it, and we're going to close it. Remember when we did our common service, administrative service, when we did our options. So what we did is when we set up our GL, we did the first thing when we set up the GL option, what was that? We added the year. So in this case we had the account. First one was the name of the company. We did the posting to leave the copy. We want to keep the record for 7 years, and then what we want to do is the segment. So now what we wanted to do is we wanted to come to where we want to come to. We want to come to account, and now we wanted to do a default account. A lot of students has this issue in the test. If your accounts are not classified properly, it will not come back here. Default, in other words, we wanted income, everything from the income statement gets close to the retained earning. So that's why it's called a control account. So if this doesn't come up, then don't worry about it. Go back to your chart of accounts, fix the classification, and come back and do this. So in this case, this is you're going to select that, and you're going to do save, and once we save it, we have done what needed to be done. So now we have a close. So now we have done chart of accounts. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to print the reports of for the GL, how to print GL reports. So you're going to go to the reports. In this case, I'm going to double click on chart of accounts because that's the one we just did today, and I wanted to print the chart of accounts. So double click it and let the system do its account. So now when you're doing it here for the chart of accounts, for the test purpose and for the assignment purpose, I don't want to see the short form. You wanted to do the long form. The reason why we wanted to do the long form is we wanted to you to show us the classification, where you put it, what type of account is it. Before we do that, I'm going to close and do one more thing before we do it, because I needed to print this. I needed to make it as a preview, so I'm going to do a preview. I'm going to do these ones because I want to do a letter size. I don't want to put a legal size. I'm going to say, okay, go back to your chart of accounts again, because I wanted to do the preview. I wanted to save as a PDF so that I can print it later on. So this is what you wanted to do. When you want to do that, in this case, everything, you're going to leave it the way it is. So now what I'm going to do is, if I do a print screen, it's going to create what needed to be created. And then what you're going to do is look for that's completing the exercise 11, completing the exercise 12. That's what it's doing. So it's going to do what it needed to be do. It takes its time. So this is what I'm going to do is, now this is what I'm looking for. Each one, is this an active account? What type of account? Is a balance sheet account? And in this case, what each one is. So this is what we're looking at it. So account group, where they are. So this is why it is important that we do everything. So in this case, we have more than one pages. Yes, if you have a plus button here, that means it has more than one pages to this. So you could go forward to see the next one. In this case, we have 2 pages. In this case, it tells you these telephone means that balance means that there is what it does is it does have a allocation set up. So that's what we wanted to do. Again, I showed you in the last class, you're going to export it. When you export it, say okay, and you're going to have another folder, and that folder, you're going to create that folder under this desktop. I'm just going to create the folder. Before I do that, I'm going to do new folder, and that will be called reports, lesson number 3, and then it's going to be called reports. And what I wanted to do is, and I wanted to name it. What is this name of this? I want to put it in there. The name will be chart of accounts. The name of our report is chart of accounts. And then I will save it, and I will have to close this. Let the system do its thing, and I'm going to close it. Now what we are doing is we're done with everything we have needed to do for chapter 3. So that's what we have. We have done it, everything that we needed to do for this one. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to dump the files. Again, we are going to go back to where we are going to do the dumping. So in other words, you should have the folder set up. So let's before we do that, I'm going to minimize, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to create a new folder. That new folder is going to be called lesson. You can do OmniSys just to be consistent, OmniSys, and then it will be called lesson 3, because we wanted to make sure that we're picking up the right file. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to dump it. When I dump, you go to the dump, and first thing you're going to do is you're going to dump the OmniSys. You're going to browse it, browse this desktop, and then you're going to do lesson 3, because that's what we are finishing, lesson 3, which is challenge exercise module 3. So in this case, I say okay, and I say dump. So we say okay, and then it's done, close, and then go to OmniDate. I say sorry, you don't need to browse it again because it automatically comes. You're going to dump it. Now it's going to be more files because we've done a little bit more. So just say close, and we close it. Once we have done everything, what you're going to do is you are going to move that folder, both folder, to your H drive. So let's do that. So we know that you go to your file folder. From that file folder, you could drag it or you could move it. I wanted to move it to my H drive in my ACCT238. So now the 2 folders that I wanted to dump is the lesson reports 3. So I'm going to do that. Then the other one is my lesson 3. So I'm going to do that. So if you look at it, I should always have four files in there, which we do have 4 files. You wanted to make sure. So next time what we're going to do is we're going to pick up from here and then start with 4. Thank you so much for listening. Do let me know if you like my video, or there's any comments regarding the video. Do post it here so that I'm able to look at it. Thank you so much for listening to me. Take care, and bye for now.